Hello ladies and gentlemen, Gavesty here. This is the Heroic Tank Guide for Norushen, the third boss in Siege of Orgrimmar. And as always, you can check out the other videos by clicking on the annotations at the bottom. So, for tanks, believe it or not, mechanically this fight is the same as the normal version. There's absolutely no difference that you'll have to face other than just higher numbers, bigger damage incoming, all that good stuff. But mechanically, this fight is the normal version of this encounter. So, as a tank, you just kind of have to do what you did on normal. Because it's almost the exact same, or it is actually the exact same, I'll only just briefly cover the basic mechanics. But for the most part, if you want more detail, you can also check out the normal version of this fight, the normal tank guide as well. So handling self-doubt and the tank swaps is obviously the most important thing you can do, just like in normal. But on Heroic, because the manifestation spawns do so much melee damage, if they happen to get in range and swing at a DPS or healer, it's probably enough to kill someone. So it's of the utmost importance that you and your tank partner get a proper tank swap rotation going on the boss based on self-doubt. I believe our tanks swapped pretty regularly at 3 stacks. That seemed to be the magic number. So find what that magic number is for you and your partner, and make sure you swap accordingly. The tank that's not on the boss should obviously be first and foremost soaking up, or rather tanking the manifestations, preferably in melee range, and then when it comes your time, soaking up the corruption orbs that they drop, especially if you have not done your trial yet, you can get one of them. On Heroic, you start at 75 corruption, just like on normal, so all that is the same. Once you do your trial, you survive for your minute, or you kill your ad, then you can come back out, and you'll be back at 0 corruption. Pretty standard stuff. Now, speaking of soaking corruption orbs for manifestations, trial priority is another important thing for tanks especially. The main reason for this is that typically as a tank, you will be the most likely target to soak up those extra corruption orbs from manifestations that spawn later into the fight. In other words, once all your DPS players have gone through their trials, or pretty much everyone in the raid has gone through once, you'll get those 5 extra manifestations that spawn at 50%, 40%, and so on. And for those, typically it's going to be best for a tank to soak those corruption orbs because other players either don't want to lose their DPS bonus or don't want to lose the healing bonus. Whereas tanks don't actually need the damage reduction bonus as much as the other players need their bonuses to assist the raid. So typically what you'll want to do is once you reach kind of the end of everyone going through their trials, the last few players should be your tanks. Make sure you've soaked up at least one of the manifestation orbs that's already been active at some point. So you're at 100 corruption, you do your trial like normal, and once you come out, the boss is approaching that 50% marker, and from then on, you and your tank partner must get all the manifestation orbs. So there will be 5 in total, obviously, at that point. So you can get, 3 and 2, or split it however you want. One person get 4, another get 1. Doesn't really matter. But the point is that tanks should prioritize getting those final few orbs from the manifestations. In fact, depending on your DPS, you may not even kill the final few manifestations. You'll see in the video here, if there's enough time anyway, or you can check out the Mumble video, which is the full fight for us, that we didn't actually kill the final 2 manifestations, at least on purpose. I think the second to last one died incidentally, but we didn't actually want to focus any DPS on that because we were close to the Berserk timer. So in that case, you may find yourself just tanking the manifestations at the end there and not actually trying to kill them. You can deal with the little bit of extra damage, and instead, your raid can focus more on the bosses. But again, the most part, the priority should be tanks clear their corruption last after all the DPS and healers, and you should soak up the orbs from the final few guys after you've cleared your corruption one time. Now finally, as of the time of this recording, which is the end of September 2013, there's a bug for this encounter, and this is regarding his Unleashed Anger ability used by the boss. Now normally he casts this pretty frequently, and it's on the current tank, and this just does some damage to the tank, that's it. But this more often than not, in fact, seems to hit other targets that are within melee range. Generally, it was hitting pets first and foremost, And if not a pet, then it would hit a melee DPS player or someone close in melee range. As best we could tell, this was not due to any issue other than sort of range from the boss. So as best we could guess, simply keeping tanks as close as possible to the boss and other melee type players at max melee range is your best bet to mitigate this. But it's not a guarantee, so just be aware that even if you're in melee range as a tank, you're doing your job properly on the boss, he may smack random people with Unleashed Anger. If that happens, just let people know that it's a bug, and they're going to have to just keep their health topped off when that happens, just in case it happens to hit them. It didn't really hit anybody that wasn't a melee for us over our attempts before we got our kill. So, again, I think it's based on melee range to the boss or something like that. So just be aware and watch for that. And that's it, really. Like I said, mechanically, this fight is the exact same as normal, except you get 5 orbs that you can click on for the trial instead of 2. But everything else is the same as the normal version. It's just the numbers are ramped up. So once you get the basics down, just like normal, you should have this fight down in no time. That is the Heroic Tank Guide for Norushen. As always, good luck, and thanks for watching.